Welcome to the Bandano Podcast, where we're calling a spade a spade. Great to be here with you guys today. The WNBA is about to shoot themselves in the foot, courtesy of those women leading the charge for the Women's National Basketball Players Association, fighting for a new CBA deal. You got to walk before you can run. And if they failed to reach a new deal for the 2026 season, well, the WNBA is going to crawl back into obscurity. Couple questions. Where does your interest level currently lie within the league, within the Indiana Fever? Where's your interest levels at? If the players do get locked out, if it takes them a while to reach a deal for the 2026 season, it's not the usual May start time. It's not even a June start time. It pushed all the way back to a July start time for the 2026 season. Let's forecast in the future. Where do you think your interest level will lie then? And God forbid there is no 2026 season. All the momentum that Caitlin Clark has built up, all the sweat equity that Caitlin Clark has put into this league over the last 3 years, I'm including her junior year at Iowa, all for nothing. Because if there's no 2026 season, the outlook for 2027 and the excitement level for a 2027 season, the outlook is looking fairly grim. Annie Costable of Front Office Sports, shout out to Annie, comes out with an update on CBA negotiations, saying a new WNBA CBA deal by October 31st deadline appears increasingly unlikely. The union cited the league's lack of urgency and questioned if it was just running out of the clock on negotiations in a statement to Front Office Sports. They're not running out of the clock. You might question their urgency because it's not important to them. Not important to the owners. It's important to the players. It's not as important to the owners. The WNBA and Women's National Basketball Players Association have just over 60 days to ratify a new collective bargaining agreement, and it looks increasingly likely that the October 31st deadline will come and go without a deal. One source familiar with the negotiations tells Front Office Sports that an extension of that deadline will likely be necessary to avoid an immediate work stoppage. The players are working diligently to achieve a transformational CBA that builds on the growth, momentum, and positive news surrounding women's sports and the W. All the growth, momentum, and positive news surrounding the W, that's the sweat equity that Caitlin Clark has put in. You see the jump from 22 to 23, that's coming off the heels of Caitlin Clark's junior year. You see the growth from 23 to 24, that's Caitlin Clark double dipping with an incredible senior year and a monstrous rookie season. 2025, Caitlin Clark hasn't played, but the Indiana Fever and the WNBA, hand in hand, both culpable, have been dangling Caitlin Clark's return in front of our faces, keeping us interested, keeping us intrigued, keeping people tuning in. The majority of people that watch these games, the majority of people that follow the Indiana Fever, the majority of people that follow Caitlin Clark, they're not on Twitter all day. They're not on ESPN app all day, WNBA all day, YouTube all day. They don't know that Caitlin Clark's out. They see Indiana Fever, they say, oh, I want to see the main attraction. They see Indiana Fever, they say, I want to see Caitlin Clark. The Indiana Fever and the WNBA have been dangling Caitlin Clark's return. And there's a reason why that petition is currently out there. A brief extension of the last CBA, which would need to be agreed to by both parties, would prevent a work stoppage and allow the sides to continue negotiating. In 2019, the league and the union agreed to a 60-day extension, announced in a joint statement 3 days before the deadline. Ultimately, negotiations were completed in January before free agency. Unlike in 2019, the league is up against expansion with 2 new franchises in Toronto Tempo and the Portland Fire, set to begin play in 2026, next season. In 2024, the league held an expansion draft for the Golden State Valkyries on December 7th, over a month before free agency was set to begin. The league has yet to produce rules or a date for the upcoming expansion draft. It will be impossible to do so without a CBA because both expansion and free agency are dictated by the agreement. Another possibility is a work stoppage in the form of a lockout or a strike. Well, the ladies would need to be employed for there to be a strike, right? Right? They would need to be employed for there to be a strike, right? It's going to be a lockout. The owners are going to say, come back when they're ready to negotiate. If the players wanted to strike, they would have struck by now. If the players wanted to strike, they would have struck, but they need that paycheck. They got payments and bills to pay. It is what it is. The league has never lost games to a work stoppage. However, in 2003, the WNBA draft and preseason schedule was slightly delayed. The union has repeatedly expressed its commitment to staying at the negotiating table for as long as it's required to reach a transformational new CBA. They want 50%. Bottom line, they want a 50-50% split of only 42% revenue the WNBA gets after it splits it all up between all the other entities that own this league. It's only 42% that the WNBA gets to themselves. And the players are saying, yeah, that 42% you get, yeah, we want half that. Keep dreaming. The union has repeatedly expressed its commitment to staying at the negotiating table for as long as it's required to reach a transformational new CBA. The players' priority include an improved revenue sharing structure, improved benefits, roster expansion, and league-wide workplace standards. Both sides held their first in-person meeting during the WNBA All-Star Weekend in Indianapolis. Many players, including Union Vice President Breanna Stewart and Nafisa Collier, characterized the meeting as a waste of time because of the gap between both sides in the issue of revenue sharing. Ahead of the All-Star Game, players warmed up in t-shirts that read, "Pay us what you owe us." I'm sure the owners love that, right? I'm sure the owners love seeing the players come out in "Pay us what you owe us" t-shirts. The interest level, if there is a 2026 lockout, is going to do more damage than this league could ever foresee. Ever foresee. You're already seeing decrease in interest surrounding non-Caitlin Clark Indiana Fever games. This past Friday against the Lynx was the lowest attendance an Indiana Fever game has received for a regular season all season long. 15,000. Usually it's a solid 17,276 with an occasional 16,500 in there. Now we get 15,000 on Friday. Do these players think that they're going to skip a year, come back in 2027, and fan interest will still be there? Even some of the people that maybe watched the league, came back, and are watching again, you give them a year to rearrange their habits, rechange their watching schedule, WNBA is going to get put back on the back burner. That's just the truth of the matter. Rachel Demita, she says, I don't think people realize just how bad a strike lockout would be for the future of this league. Agreed. And CDS, I don't think players realize. That's the main crux of it. Players don't realize. They don't realize that a lockout, a delayed season, a completely non-season in 2026, they don't understand that would be disastrous to this league. If there's no 2026 season, let's not say a delayed start. If there's no 2026 season, don't be surprised if the WNBA turns into the WBA, Women's Basketball Association, or the WBL, the Women's Basketball League, or something else along those lines. Don't be surprised if some fool with a lot of money says, here, Unrivaled, let's try to turn this into a 5v5 league. WNBA might cease to exist if they fail to reach a deal with this new CBA. What little momentum they picked up in the last couple of years will be for nothing, and the league will be even more dire need of saving financially if they were to survive a strike to begin with. would set them back a decade. People will forget about the league and the fans that came. Probably a majority will forget and interest will die with it. Agreed. Then they will have to start over and try to build fan engagement, which is not easy. Maybe then they'll say, Caitlin, go do your thing. When they realize, oh, we are back to the dog days of 2015. Oh, we are back to nobody caring. Maybe then they will say, ooh, let's see if we can get all of the people that followed Caitlin and kind of fell off because there was no season in 2026. Let's see if we can get them back just based on her incredible play. Players in this league need to wake up. The director of the Players Association, she needs to wake up. She is leading them down a path that isn't going to be beneficial for the players in this league. Might be beneficial for a few, but not the majority. And that's who they're negotiating on the behalf of. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I appreciate all of the support. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed and subscribe to the channel. That would mean so much to me. We'll see you next time, and as always, take it easy.